Microsoft has lost 8th generation console war, and it is losing 9th generation. That's a fact that has been confirmed by Microsoft themselves. But it's all about to change. Microsoft has been laying ground for the grand comeback, and they have been laying this ground for years now. And we're about to witness the real start of a console war. And these are 4 reasons why Sony is about to get into huge trouble. It's no secret that Sony is winning this console generation and one previous one. But the true reason why this happened was games. Sony had amazing console sellers like God of War, Last of Us, and many other amazing titles. And it seems like Microsoft finally realized that. And they finally are realizing that games are actually selling consoles. And finally, they are getting title like that allows them to compete. And it is, of course, none other than Starfield. Starfield is a huge and ambitious game by Bethesda, the company that Microsoft just recently acquired. And actually, one of the reasons why they acquired the company was Starfield, to not allow it to be an exclusive for Sony. And they were right in doing that. Bethesda single-player games were always cultural phenomenons, and sold and resold in multiples of millions. And many people are still playing the decades-old Bethesda games right now. But what about other alleged console sellers that Microsoft failed in? Specifically talking about big boys like Redfall and Halo Infinite. Well, those games failed because they were aiming for something they did not have experience in, and it is being live service games. Both Halo Infinite and Redfall were aiming for that. And it seems like Microsoft did realize that they would fail, but they realized it way too late to cancel. But you could say something similar on the previous Bethesda release, Fallout 76. And weirdly enough, that game failed for the same reason as Halo Infinite and Redfall. This game tried to be a live service game made by people who are masters in single player creation game. And well, as you can see, it failed as well. But this time it's a bit different. Starfield is a purely single player game made by masters of single player game creation. And it has a huge chance of truly being a console seller, because Xbox will be an only console where this game will be released. Yes, so Sony also is pitching a great RPG against it, and it's Baldur's Gate 3. And there is also a very high chance that Baldur's Gate 3 will be better than Starfield in many ways. However, there is one big fault in this. Baldur's Gate will not be a Sony exclusive. It will be just timed exclusive for Sony. Plus, there is no denying that CRPGs like that are far more enjoyable on PCs. And Microsoft has one more advantage up its sleeve, and it's Game Pass. Because Starfield is supposed to be day 1 release on Game Pass, meaning that you don't even need to pay full price for the game in order to enjoy it fully. For as little as $10 a month, you will be able to play that game on your console or on PC. Plus, Microsoft is preparing a bunch of other games in order to release day 1 on the Game Pass. And probably one of the biggest one is next Forza Motorsport. But PlayStation has also something like that, PS Plus Premium. But you see, there is the one big difference. PlayStation Premium is not allowing day 1 releases, while Microsoft do. All of the games on PS Plus Premium has already been released for quite some time, while Xbox has a mix of newer titles and an older ones. And even though Game Pass roster is not the best for hardcore gamers, for the casual gamers it's more than enough. For casual gamers who don't have time to play all the newer titles and want to enjoy older and good titles, Game Pass is amazing value. But value of Game Pass is also about to change by a lot. And it is by acquisition of Activision Blizzard King. Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard King has been huge in the news for quite a while, and has been tried to be blocked by Sony on every step of the way. And they have really good reasons for that. Activision is owning one of the largest gaming IPs in existence, and it's Call of Duty. And for almost a decade, Sony had advantage in Call of Duty by having exclusive first access to every type of content of Call of Duty released on consoles. And they don't want to lose this by giving exclusivity to Xbox. And numbers are also agreeing with that, because as Sony released information about Call of Duty players, there are more than 1 million players that are exclusively playing Call of Duty games on their PlayStation. And there are more than 6 million players spending more than 70% of the time playing only Call of Duty, meaning that Call of Duty is very big on PlayStation. So what will happen if Xbox gain Call of Duty? Well, most importantly, Call of Duty will appear on a Game Pass. And now suddenly you won't be needing to pay $70 for the games every year. You will just get it on a Game Pass day 1, meaning that Xbox will be far better place to play Call of Duty games than PlayStation, and far cheaper. And this will open floodgates to many newer players to Call of Duty franchise, because now they will be able to afford it. And this happened in the same way with this console generation with Xbox Series S. And that's another advantage of Microsoft. You see, most developers don't like Xbox Series S because it's way too underpowered compared to all the other consoles, except for Nintendo Switch, of course. And Microsoft is obliging developers to develop for Xbox Series S alongside Series X, meaning that they need to develop for the weaker consoles. But this weaker console comes for the lower price as well, allowing more people to get access into this console generation. And you can get Xbox Series S for as low as $220 MSRP, and in some places even lower than that. It has been never that easy to get into newest console generation, and that's all thanks to Xbox Series S. And probably Series S is an only reason why Xbox is still fighting in this console generation. Numbers are not fully released, but Xbox Series X and S together has sold around 21 million units as of June 2023, which is barely half of PlayStation 5's Q1 2023 sales. But Microsoft is betting on this console because cheap access price is a huge incentive into getting this console. Plus they're doubling down on it because they're actually releasing improved version of this console with 1TB version from September 2023. So is Sony in trouble? Yes, they are. They are on top of this console generation and they are very inflexible because of that. While Microsoft has very little to lose now, and they are using everything that they can. Plus, because they have huge pockets that they can dump into Xbox, Sony simply cannot compete financially. And their inflexibility with PS Plus game releases makes them very vulnerable. Yes, Starfield alone might not be enough to destroy Sony, but most likely it will be enough to take out a huge chunk of console sales until the end of the year. But what do you think? Is Microsoft about to hit up this console war, or it will be just another fluke like Redfall was, and they will go back into obscurity again? Let me know in the comments down below. This will be what they think will be key with me. Like the video if you like it, subscribe for more videos like this one. I'm gonna see you in the next one. See ya.